Here with Pointer head baseball coach Pat Bloom, set to enter his 8th season as head coach of the Pointers. Coach, entered the season ranked number 2 in the preseason rankings, despite no All-Americans, and you're picked as the WIC favorite by the SIDs. Talk about what that means heading into this year.
Well, anytime you have that type of recognition, both nationally and within your conference, I think it's a great honor. We are appreciative of being respected, not only by our colleagues within the conference, but by other individuals on a national level. We work hard to maintain a high standard for our program, and we preach the idea of setting the bar high, not just to try to win things within the conference and to do great things here in the state of Wisconsin, but to be the type of program that is representing our university on a national level. So we certainly are proud of it. At the same time, we are not going to take it for granted to think that we are going to somehow get some sort of advantage competitively from having those types of recognition. So we're very aware of what it means from a competitive standpoint, that we're going to get everybody's best shot, their best focus, and really many teams are not going to have much to lose when they play against us, so they can kind of throw caution to the wind, as you say. So we're preparing as if we're going to see everybody's best pitcher, and then they're going to be playing the best game of the year, and we tell our guys that we have to be able to match that intensity, that focus, and that execution in order to be successful.
Mm-hmm. You talk about getting everybody's best shot. You kind of roll out a really decent lineup. You have 14 upperclassmen in your lineup, able to kind of mix and match some guys in there. Talk about that veteran leadership that you enter the year with.
Well, we've had kids that are now seniors and juniors that have been with us for a couple of seasons now, so they've been in the fold and within our program and have been adhering to our philosophies and teachings and way of doing things to a point where a lot of times practice runs pretty efficiently and almost like clockwork, which is I think what coaches really would love to see on a day-to-day basis all the time. You can't put a price on experience. I think any coach would tell you that in any sport at any level. And to have experience combined with talent and combined with having had previous success on a national level, I think it bodes very well, provided that the mindset is there. And that mindset has got to be one where there's still hunger, there's still a tremendous amount of drive, and there's still a level of humility where we understand that previous records of success and accomplishments and rankings and paper recognition really is not going to get us anything on the field once we set foot between the lines.
Uh-huh. Let's start talking a little bit about some of those individuals. Let's talk first about pitching. You return 2 seniors in Scott Williams and Joel Delort, and quite a bit of talent there. Just talk a little bit about those guys and some of the other guys you got coming in.
Well, Scott and Joel are 2 of the best that we've had, at least in my tenure here at Stevens Point. They're a fantastic righty-lefty duo that have been significant contributors since they've been freshmen. And last year they, in many ways, took our team on their shoulders and gave us the type of outings and the type of performances in big games that are necessary to have any chance of winning championships. So we're looking for them to do more of the same this year, where they've really excelled in addition to their on-field performance in the past is in a leadership role. We have several young pitchers that are new to the staff this year, and as well as some other kids that are returning that are in crucial periods of their development. And Scott and Joel have been fantastic as mentors and as leaders in setting an example, not only physically with their performance and their preparation, but also vocally in terms of how they communicate with their teammates. So we're looking for them to be 2 of the more dominant pitchers, not only in our conference but across the country. And then in addition to them, Cody Kovac returns from injury this year, and we really feel like between Scott and Joel and Cody that we have a 1A, 1B, and 1C in our rotation, and you got to have those horses at the top if you want to have any chance in college baseball, and Cody's going to be a workhorse just like Scott and Joel have been in the past for us. The challenge with Cody is that he also plays center field, and it is a key part of our everyday lineup. So we got to make sure that we keep him healthy, and we got to make sure that when we do put him on the mound, that he feels strong, he can go out there and give us the type of outing that we know he can when he is fully rested and healthy. But beyond him, Eric Van Beck looks to slide in to that number 4 slot, and Eric's got a lot of key experience last year, and I think he's ready to break out and be a real strong veteran presence on the mound. And then we've got a host of freshmen and a couple of sophomores that are all vying for innings. The freshman class is extremely talented. We're very excited about those kids and what they're going to do for our present and our future. But it remains to be seen how they're going to do it, how they're going to fare on the mound in competitive situations. So Florida is the ultimate opportunity for all of them, because we do play those 9 games in 6 days, and there are plenty of innings to be had. So we're looking forward to seeing how they break out.
Let's talk a little bit about your offense. A couple big holes left to graduation. Talk about how you see some of those holes being filled this year and what you got coming back.
Well, the reality of college athletics, you're going to lose kids every year, especially if you got talented squads. You're going to lose guys that really mean a lot to your program and to the success of your team. At the same time, if we do our job developmentally, there's kids that are raring and ready to go and step into those shoes that were left by their predecessors. So Jeremy Richter, Brad Archambault, Sam Spurney, Josh Krieger, they were a big part of our offense last year. I mean, I think they combined for over 60% or so of our home runs. So it's going to be tough to equal that, especially this year with our new bat standards that are in place. The game is going to be about more versatility, contact efficiency, and being able to do different things to advance runners and score runs. And I think that we'll be fine in that area, because we got several veteran cogs that understand how the game of baseball needs to be played with that mindset. You know, they'll work good at bats. They're going to be high on base guys. We've got some guys that have good speed that are going to be base stealing threats for us. But most importantly, we have guys who have team-oriented mindsets. I mean, they understand what their role is within the framework of a 9-person lineup, and I think we're going to be able to put out a lot of different lineups that are going to be effective for us in scoring runs. And hopefully with our pitching staff, you know, the magic number doesn't have to be 8 to 10. The magic number can be, 3 to 5, and we can feel pretty good about our chances.
Let's talk a little bit defensively. Return the WIC Position Player of the Year at short, Eric Fritz, and Gold Glover at third base, and Jerschley. Just talk a little bit about those guys and how else you guys shape up defensively.
Yeah, we're obviously very solid all around defensively, I feel, and especially on the left side of our infield. To me, you need to have guys not only up the middle, but especially on the left side of that infield that can make plays, and that can turn over ground balls and possibly get 2 outs with one batted ball. But Jerschley and Fritz, to me, I think are a fantastic combination. They're tremendous, obviously, with the glove, and they're very accurate as throwers as well. So I think that if we potentially could put out an infield that has those 2 on the left side, and then Travis Tushin or Dan Douglas at second base, and then Kevin Thomas, another senior, or Sean Gerber, sophomore, Luke Boehm, also a sophomore at first base, and then 2 seniors behind the dish in Renicky and Considine. So, boy, we're going to be veteran-laden there around the infield and behind the plate, and I feel that it provides a real solid cushion for any pitcher that goes out there. We were 5th in the country or something like that last year in fielding percentage, and I expect that to be similar again this year. We should be able to pick it and throw it and keep our team in ball games by playing great defense.
Let's talk a little bit about the outfield. Like you mentioned, Brad Archambault, who's been a staple out in the outfield there for several years in your program. How do you replace a guy like that, and who do you envision being out there?
Yeah, with Arch and with those other guys that are gone, I don't ever really look at trying to replace the person and the performer that they were, because they all leave their own mark individually. But I think that what we're going to do to try to fill those vacancies is first of all, hope that we can keep Cody healthy. When he's not on the mound, he's our center fielder, and he would have been our starting center fielder and a fantastic one last year had he not gotten injured. But I think he's one of the better players in the country, and I think he proved that this summer in the Northwoods League. So I know he's chomping at the bit to have a real breakout year. He can cover a lot of ground, outstanding arm, and a guy that can really swing the bat. So I think he'll solidify things when he's out there to a large extent. When he's on the mound, look for Dan Douglas to kind of go back out there and roam center field like he had done last year. Dan is the ultimate utility guy. I mean, he's so valuable because he can play so many different positions. And last year we threw him out in the outfield, and he'd not played, I don't think, an inning in high school there, and he fared very well. So we were going to look at him as a possible left fielder, possible center fielder, and then potentially rotating and getting some reps at second base. And then we got Jared Sermon, who's a senior, who was first team all-conference as a freshman, and who has been a solid contributor for us over the course of his career. He's going to probably slide over and get the majority of his reps in right field this year, and be a guy kind of like Sam Spurney was last year that'll be a power presence in the middle of our order and in the corner outfield position. And then the other guy that we've got is a newcomer, Brian Clark, a junior college transfer from Faulkner State Community College in Alabama. And Brian has had big-time baseball experience ever since he was younger. He was had a solid career at Oshkosh North High School, and he was a solid player down there at Faulkner, helping to lead them to the Division I JUCO World Series last year. So he's going to get immediate opportunity to step in there and contribute, and we feel very confident with the rotation of those guys. In addition to a guy like Casey Barnes possibly going out there and getting some reps, and maybe a few others as well.
Mm-hmm. We talked about it before, but kind of how your schedule shapes up. Talk about not being able to play that game in the Metrodome. Normally that game comes the end of February. It's kind of like an early season test for you guys. How much of an effect does not being able to play that game have on you guys?
It has a significant effect, because we, as everybody in Wisconsin and the upper Midwest knows, that baseball teams and softball teams spend the majority of their time indoors. We don't see balls go higher than 50, 60 feet for a period of about 6-7 weeks. And everything that our hitters see live from a pitcher's arm is inside of a batting cage. So it significantly affects us when we can't go and get some games in at least after a 4-week window of preparation. So our guys, they're more than anxious. They're really ready to go. And we play a team now, our first game in Oglethorpe out of Georgia, who will have 18 games played before we play them in our first. And that's another challenge in and of itself, because not only are you playing your first game outside, but you're playing against a team that's basically in mid-season form, literally. So the way to combat that is just to try to reiterate that it's a game of baseball. You know, we're not getting the natural hops off the artificial surface indoors, but we hope that we have infielders that have been taught to try to attack the ball in the right way, regardless of whether it's on dirt or whether it's on a gym floor. And then, you know, the mound's still 60 feet 6 to the plate, and we hope that all those sort of mindsets will create the right, the right focus and confidence in our guys to go out there and play the game the way it needs to be played to try to get a win in that first one.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned you guys kick off your Florida schedule here in a couple days, and 9 games in 6 days, which really is nothing new for you guys. It's kind of always a big rush to get in as many games as you can down there. Just talk about preparing your team for that, and obviously you get to see a lot of different things while you're down there.
Yeah, we've never ducked competition in Florida, nor have we ever shied away from playing a lot of games in a short span. Some of it is budgetary, of course, but other reasons are that we really want to see what we've got, and we like to test our guys right off the bat and see how we handle adversity. We see how we handle fatigue, and we test our depth. So, like I said before, I mean, Florida is always the great opportunity to create a chance for yourself. So there's going to be plenty of at bats to be had, plenty of innings to be had, and playing 9 games in 6 days is going to require a pitching depth, of course, but it's also going to require us to be able to stay in a certain level of rhythm and to be able to handle some of the tough bumps in the road, because each day is a new day and a new opponent, but again with the same target, you know, and they, you know, whether they literally do it or they do it figuratively in their minds, the game against Stevens Point means a lot because of the ranking and because of our previous history of success. We realize that, and we've kind of embraced that challenge of going down there and taking on that many games in a short time, and trying to prepare our bodies to be able to withstand the weather, withstand the amount of innings played, and to withstand the type of challenges we're going to face from our opponents.
All right, Coach. Well, good luck down in Florida, and we'll talk to you when you guys get back.